Now going east on Highway 162 out of Bluff towards a place called Old Footbridge Road, or Footbridge Road. And people in Bluff say you can turn down there and go down to the river, and there's a little grove of trees. You can make a campsite there. So that's what I'm going to do. Camp by the San Juan River tonight. But the views still continue to impress me. Three miles down that way, looking westerly. 3 miles down that way is Bluff, and about 11 miles this way, looking easterly, is going to be Montezuma Creek, my next destination for tomorrow. And to pick up a supply box. Thank you, Zore, for mailing that for me. But camp for tonight. Gonna go down Footbridge Road, I think, down into the San Juan River. I'll let you see what it looks like. And also, somebody asked me, hey, what do your campsites look like? Why don't you show it to us sometimes? So maybe tonight I'll show you what the campsite looks like. Not much to see, but I'll show you. Huh. Yeah, it's a pretty spot here. If I remember correctly, I believe there was an old footbridge I came across to either right here, right there, or to right here where I'm standing. But as pretty as the San Juan River is right here, there's no place to camp right on the river. I'll have to go back here through the tunnel and I think back into that open space and just hang out underneath the cliff there for tonight. Not right underneath it, but out in this open spot here, and call it a night. As promised, here's the humble abode for the night. Next to these rocks, but not under them. And then down there is the little path to the San Juan River. All right, home for the night. 3 miles east of Bluff, Utah. For those who asked me, here's what a campsite looks like. What I usually do is I don't actually typically use this ground sheet. I just used it last night because the ground's pretty hard. So what I did is I doubled up the pad that I use here. This pad usually extends the full length of the sleeping bag. So I just doubled up the pad, and then I had to use the ground sheet so that I didn't have my sleeping bag on the ground. But typically what I'll do is I'll just roll out that pad and then put the sleeping bag on top of the pad, and then the backpack right there, and I'll use the backpack as a pillow, and that's really about it. I don't use a tent except when it's raining. I've only had to use a tent about 3 or 4 times if it's been raining or threatening to rain or real windy. Why don't I use a tent, people ask? Well, there's not really any need to. Just sleeping out under the stars. Of course, the stars are gone, the sun's coming up, is pretty nice because you can just see your whole surroundings, and it's just like you're in nature instead of being stuck in a little cocoon. And so that's how I lay out a campsite here. Happy Tuesday morning. Well, last night, as I mentioned, I want to try and get an early start before the heat comes up. I was planning on trying to cut out at 7 this morning. I actually got out about 7:30, and the partial reason is because I had to try and let what little sun was out dry off the condensation on top of my sleeping bag before I packed it up. It got most of it, but still a little damp. So hopefully before it gets too hot, I'll make it into Montezuma Creek and then take a break there for the afternoon, and then see how it goes, and then maybe do extra few miles in the late afternoon. And then that'll shorten, like I mentioned, that'll either shorten my next day to the Colorado border, or I'll split that 2-day segment into 3 days, which I'm thinking I'm probably going to do instead. And that'll get me into the Ute Tribal Visitor Center, where I'll camp for the night and then go up, get their permit and go up the Mancos River and stay there for a couple nights, and then take 2 days after that to get to Durango, where I'll take 2 or 3 days off. So we're getting there. It's kind of open country right now. It's actually pretty interesting, this open country, and hardly any cars right now. It is a Tuesday, so probably don't expect a whole lot, but see how it goes the next 4 hours. I think that's what's going to take me. 4 hours walking, but including breaks, maybe 5 hours, 5.5 to get to Montezuma Creek. All right, that's it for now. From Bluff to Montezuma Creek. I'm pleasantly surprised, even going up those hills, that one that you just saw and then the one before that, I've been maintaining a 3-mile-an-hour pace. Not too bad. I often wonder, taking these breaks out here in the middle of nowhere alongside the road, what people might think when they come across me after miles and miles and miles of nothing, and then all of a sudden they see somebody out in the middle of nowhere. Back in the old days, before this trip ever popped in my head, I probably would have thought, hey, what's that guy doing? Crazy. Must be a vagrant or something. So, interesting, the thoughts. What would you think if you saw some crazy guy out in the middle of nowhere on a lonely 2-lane road and you saw him sitting by the side of the road, what would you think? Let me know. I'd like to hear. I've passed a number of these puddles here the past few miles. I wanted to show them to you. This is just to kind of give you the magnitude of that 1 hour downpour that I got stuck in on Friday. Here it is on Tuesday, and there's been a number of these puddles still just sticking around. And the weather's been in the 80s, so it's not like it's been cool so it wouldn't evaporate. Yeah, that's how wet I got. I often wondered as a kid, when reading the stories about the pioneers and the wagon trains, and even just the lone cowboys riding across the West, how they did it, where they got their water. But walking all these places, you know, there's a lot of places where you can find water easily, even out in these old desolate spots. And even today too, you know, this is all BLM land. If one wanted to, I guess like I'm doing sort of, there's a lot of places just to camp that they're not even on the map, but you find them. And they'd be pretty too. Can you hear that? I've been hearing it about the past half mile or so. Guess what I found? I guess they're still pulling oil out of here. Welcome to Montezuma Creek, Utah. I'm picking up a supply box here at the post office. Thank you, Zori, for sending it. And now that I'm thinking what's in it, I know that I don't want a lot of stuff that's in there, but I'll make do. And then I don't know what else I'm going to say. Now I do know what I want to say. Resupply boxes. On this journey, I've only sent myself 5 boxes. The first one was in Peach Springs, and I did want all that stuff, and I did use it. But I quickly realized that I was getting tired of it already. I had another one sent to me in Grand Canyon Village, not knowing what kind of store was up there, but they had a very good store there, so I really didn't need to have sent one there. But I did use all the stuff in it. This is my 3rd box, Montezuma Creek, to get me the 7 days or so to Durango. And I sent one here, realizing that there's not really any store to resupply. But the problem with resupply boxes, and if you're hiking a long distance trail, whether it's this one, the American Discovery Trail, when I get there, or the PCT, the CDT, or the AT, I don't know that resupply boxes really are necessary. On the PCT, I think you can pretty much just find what you need in the small towns when you need to go out and resupply. CDT, I'm not so sure, but I think you can do the same thing. And the AT, definitely you don't need any resupply boxes. So the next time, I probably won't send myself any boxes anywhere except somewhere that's really remote, and it doesn't really have any sort of make a halfway balanced meal for 7 days. How about this? I'm walking through Montezuma Creek. Got my resupply box over there. Post office, and Ethel at the post office. Thank you very much. You're very nice. And so anyway, come by here and look. They got a health clinic, which has a nice little cafeteria. And what did I get at the cafeteria? Something I've been craving very much. Watermelon in the form of watermelon Italian soda. Look at that. A berry salad, coconut water, and a pizza. All right. That's the first course. Well, I'm a couple miles, a little past a couple miles east of Montezuma Creek, and this is where I'll be camping tonight. It's off the side of the road, but it's not too far off the side of the road, so depending on the traffic, I'll be hearing it, I guess, huh? Although there's not really much traffic at night. And then I guess the good thing is if they get up early in the morning, I'll get up early in the morning too and get going. Nice sunset there. And I'm sure that I'll have a nice sunrise over there. Good morning. Looks like the weather's starting to change a little bit. I got a even a little bit earlier start this morning. I left about 7:20, 7:30. And I'm just about at the Utah-Colorado border, which is right up above there, around the bend. I want to say thanks also to Colonel. I met Colonel yesterday at the Navajo Health Center, where I loaded up on food. And then he also gave me a free chef salad when they closed up there. And then I just went out of town a couple miles and camped. But he saw me walking along the road this morning, and so he just gave me a ride a few miles up here towards the border before he turned off to go back to his place. So again, thanks, Colonel. But also I wanted to point out the topography is changing a bit out here. You know, still have some of the mesas, but it's getting softer. The features of the land aren't as sharp as they were back through all of southern Utah and even through the Navajo Nation as I was cutting across there through Navajo Trail in northern Arizona. And then I'll be soon getting into mountain country, and that'll be another change. So it's just interesting to see these changes on a slow pace, you know, instead of driving through them real fast or seeing them up above on an airplane. So I will, when I get to the Colorado border in about a little bit less than a mile, I'll take a picture. Utah, life elevated. I'm leaving Utah. Actually, I think I've left it. The border actually of Utah and Colorado, I think, runs diagonally across the road. So I'll show it to you in a second. But the Colorado sign is back over there. So hold on for a second. Now look at that. There it is. Colorado. Let's step into the state line here. Let's see. 3 states down. I'm on my 4th state now out of 12. Plus District of Columbia. And kind of feels like, once again, just like Route 66 and northern Arizona and Navajo reservations, like leaving a good friend after being in it for so long. So on into Colorado. Next stop is the campsite somewhere along the road tonight, and then into the Ute Visitor Center. So I get up the Mancos River into Durango. Yeah, it's a really interesting feeling once again. And the country is changing. The countryside, I should say, is changing. Yes, I looked both ways before I crossed the road. So, time to process. Now we say goodbye to the Navajo. Thank you very much for your hospitality. And on to the Ute. I'll be on their land for next 3 days, I think. Possibly 4. So looking forward to meeting you all too. Uppity-yay, get along, you little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Well, either my voice has gotten better since they're not running away, or they just have a casual disinterest in everything. See you along, see you around. You notice I'm walking a little slower? Ever since I crossed the Colorado state border, it's been nothing but uphills and also kind of like false summits. Mr. Harris, you listening? Just when I think I'm getting to a top, and there's another top coming. Let me get out of the way before the car runs me over. Oh no, they're going to the other side. Good. So, besides the constant uphill, I got a headwind, straight on headwind, and also resupplied. You know, I got a full resupply, 6 days of provisions there at the post office in Montezuma Creek. So instead of like I was walking most of southern Utah with a, I don't know, 25-ish pound pack, now with my full 6.5 liters of water to get me through 2 days, and 6 days of food, that's about 12 pounds. 12 plus my base weight of 15 on my pack is 27. Plus the water, 6.5 liters is, see, that's 8, that's 4, that's 12, that's 13. So I'm about 40-ish pounds, 39, 40 pounds. And that's really affecting my pace. For the past week or so, I've been regularly doing some 3 mile an hour, 3.1 mile an hour paces. Now I'm down to about 2.6. So it goes. Colorado's getting me in shape before the Rockies. So the Rockies will be a cakewalk, right? All right, here we go. Well, this is Colorado Highway 41. Looking back to the Colorado-Utah border where I came from this morning. And then it traveled southeast, and it's now getting ready to hook up with US Highway 160 right up there about a mile away, which goes roughly north and south like that. Alright, and then tomorrow will be the, hopefully I'll be at the Mancos Campground, the Mancos River Campground. You know, the other day when I was trying to find a campsite off the side of the road, and I was telling you how the state of Utah does 5 strands of wire on the side of the roads. Well, looks like Colorado does the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there on the bottom. So that's either Colorado, state of Colorado wire along the side of the road, or that's Ute wire protecting their reservation. Huh. Well, let's see when I get down to Highway 160 what we got. And I'll report back if it's less than 5. Well, I'm sitting off the side of Highway 160 after turning off Colorado 41 right there, and then turning left from 41 onto US 160. And just sitting here taking a break. And then all of a sudden, this car stopped over there on the other side, said, "Hey, you okay?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm just heading over that way to the Ute Visitor Center, which is about 11 miles away." And so he said, "Okay." And then he got out of his car, opened up his back door, and then he got a grape soda, and he picked it up and brought it across the road to me. How about that? Not only that, and a bag of Cheetos. So, whoever you are. Oh, and the other thing too is evidently he was traveling this way, saw me sitting here, evidently made a U-turn down the road and then came back up here, stopped, and then after he gave me this, he made a U-turn and went back that way. So whoever you are, if you're watching, thank you very much. Prayers for you. And I'll be sure to do the same to somebody else. Thank you very much. All right, I'm in a little bit of a quandary. I'm sitting here at the side of 160, and I got my stuff laid out. And here's my backpack. I'm leaning on that. I got the pad out. I've already had my dinner. It's about 8 o'clock in the evening. And so I'm wondering, and I've got 8.1 miles to go to my next destination. I've already done about 17 today. So, and the 8.1 miles to my destination, that's actually the Ute Tribal Visitor Center. They open up at 8:30. And I need to get a permit from them to camp in their campground up on the Mancos River. So the quandary is, do I just pack up all my stuff right now and walk the final, see, 8.1 miles? Let's just round it up to 3 hours. Walk the final 3 hours, which gets me into the visitor center there at, say, 11:30 p.m., and I can just sleep outside there. They said I could. It's option number one. Or option number two is, do I just go to sleep here right now? It's not very, well, it's not secluded, period. Once the sun goes down, it will be, but then the moon's going to shine on me. So do I sleep here until, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get up all packed up and walk the final 3 hours over there? So if I got up at 3, they get me there at 6. So if I got up at 4, they get me there at 7 or 8. Or option number 3 is, since I've already eaten and it's still nice weather and the moon will be out too, maybe I just walk another hour right now. That gets me about 3 miles up the road, which leaves 5.1 miles on the clock for the morning, which would be, say, rounded up to a 2-hour walk. So that means I get up at 5. Or do I walk 2 hours and bang out 6 miles, leaving me only 2.1 miles in the morning, which means I can get up at 6:30. Or if I did that, then I'd probably think, well, heck, I only have 2.1 miles to go, so why don't I just go more? And that would get me into the visitor center about 11:30, maybe midnight at the latest. And like I said, I can sleep outside there. And I'd still have about 8 hours of sleep. I'm in a quandary. What should I do? Got to make a decision fast, though. Otherwise, it'll be dark. What would you do? All right, did you answer the question, the scenario? What did I do? What did I end up doing? It's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. That's Chimney Rock, by the way. Mancos Canyon Road over there. What did I end up doing? Well, I ended up just banging out the 8 miles all night, all in one shot last night. I got here to the visitor center a little bit before midnight, and then just rolled my stuff out right here behind this picnic bench. So if you answered that I was going to do it all in one shot, you get the prize. And we'll figure out what the prize is. Oh, and by the way, too, hopefully that little cabin at the campground is available, because today it's scheduled to be 30 to 50 mile an hour winds from that direction. No. The other direction. From that direction. So, see what happens, huh? So I'm at the Ute Mountain Tribal Park Visitor Center. And even though it says it's closed, hopefully it's going to open. And there's not another one, or I'm sunk. I got to go up to the casino, I guess. Well, here's the Ute Tribal Park Campground. It's a pretty nice little campground. They got a fire ring right there. So, boy, maybe I'll have a fire tonight if it's not windy. They got water for you to drink. They have a few ramadas where people can set their tents up underneath them if they wanted to have shade or keep the rain off. They also have 3 cabins. This is the nicest one, actually. The others are like plywood cabins with concrete floors. But let me show you where home sweet home is for the next 2 nights. This one, it's got a wood floor, and it's even got a table. The others are just sparse, nothing. So this one's got a table, and if I wanted to, I could turn those benches over and have a bench. So I'll just be sleeping right here on the floor, and I guess the floor is softer than rock that I've been sleeping on sometimes. So the Ute Tribal Park Campground. I'd recommend it if you're coming this way someday. Just make a reservation with them. It's pretty nice. Mancos River is just right over there. So this is Mancos Canyon. I was right up that way for a couple days, and then looking south, and then back to the west over here. This whole canyon just opens up, and then Bluff, Utah is out that way. Bluff, Utah, Mexican Hat. I'm sorry, Montezuma Creek, where I came from a few days ago. So if you ever have a chance to get out this way, southwestern Colorado, come on over to the Ute Mountain Reservation and take their tour. They got a lot to show you here, and also Mesa Verde is just right around that way. Appear in Mancos. I'm here in Mancos. Took a little half-day tour at the Ute Mountain Reservation, you know, where I was staying there in the campground. They couldn't let me up the road to get to Johnson Canyon, where I was going to walk to get out to Klein and then up to Durango. So they brought me around the mountain here to Mancos, and it's a little historic town, I guess. And I'm gonna go find a place to stay. I heard the Mancos Inn and Hostel is a good place, so that's where I'm on my way to find. And then I'll stay here for one night, and then walk the highway into Durango. It'll take me 2 days, and I'll be at Durango. a lot to say about such a little time in Mancos. Mancos is a pretty nice place. I'll come back here sometime. And everyone's nice. Everyone's very nice. And so I want to say, first off, thanks Duff for buying me breakfast, and everyone there at St. Rita's for the prayers. And remember, I've got you all in my prayers too. And everyone at the Mancos Inn, thank you very much. Sarah, you've got a nice place there. So whenever I come back here, I'll stay at your place. And yeah, if you want to, you can put this little clip on your on your website. But I want to say thanks to Dana. You know, I liked your stories and stuff about hopping the trains and everything, and I hope it all works out for you with the recent changes and stuff, and especially for your daughter. And Elena, he'll hear you. Just listen, and he listens. So thanks again, everybody, and got you in my prayers, and hopefully I'm in yours. All right. Onward to Durango. So what I'm going to do is Durango's 28 miles away, and it's supposed to start raining early in the morning. It's Sunday right now. It's supposed to start raining early in the morning tomorrow, maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a cold rain, like 36, 38 degrees and raining. And you know how much I like using a tent, and especially how much I like packing it up when it's cold and rainy. So what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk till probably 8 o'clock tonight, and I got to walk the highway here into Durango. So I think I'm going to walk the highway till about 8 o'clock, and then hunker on down, try and get a 3 or 4 hour nap to recharge a little bit, and then get into Durango hopefully around midnight, 1 o'clock. Although, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock. But at any rate, even if the rain starts catching me while I'm walking, I'd rather walk in the rain than try and pack up in the rain. So let's see what happens, huh? Durango, 28 miles. Can I do 28 miles in a day? I had good practice the other day when I did 25 miles, so let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh, by the way, can you see that? Snow right there. And they got snow in Hesperus yesterday, and I'm going through Hesperus on the way to Durango. Alrighty, here we go. Well, guess what? I magically appeared in Durango. It wasn't because of my camera or anything like that, but I was walking down the highway, and guess what? Car was going by on the other side, and they made a U-turn and then pulled up behind me, and so they motioned for me to come over. As soon as I got to the back of the car, they said, "Hurry up, get in! Hurry up!" And so I was going, well, that's pretty direct. Well, it turned out to be Veronica from the Ute Mountain Tribe. She's the one that helped me get up to the campground. And the Ute Mountain Tribe campground. So how can you refuse? So that's what happened. I got into Durango before the rain started, and then I've been here a couple days already. It's been raining off and on. Today it was rained a little bit, and then it's cleared up. Well, it's not cleared up, but it stopped raining. But tomorrow, more rain's supposed to come, and you know what that means is that rain down here in Durango means snow up in the mountains. So they got about another foot up there. So I did get some snowshoes. Actually, Eric over at Pine Needle Mountaineering loaned them to me, so all I have to do is just get up over the mountain, and then once I get out of the snow, just send it back to him. So thanks a lot, Eric. So this is downtown Durango. That's the Strater Hotel right there. And then Durango's one of those quaint little towns. It's got this downtown that's got stuff going on. So that's where I've been hanging out the past couple hours, getting the snowshoes and then getting something to eat. Now it's back to where I'm staying, so I can get things all together and get ready to go up the mountain starting on Friday, which is 2 days from now. Durango, Colorado. Hey, look at that. No hat. Before I head out of Durango, I also wanted to show you, besides downtown over there, the Animas River, which is, downtown is just right up and over there. But this is the Animas River, which just is to the west of downtown, and it's pretty full. And besides that, there's a lot of snow up in the mountains. One route where I was going to go, it's got 8.5 feet up there still, 102 inches. So I'm going to try and get up and over Weminuche Pass, up the Pine River, and see how far I get. Hopefully I get all the way. And then down into Creed, and a road walk into South Fork. Away from Durango I go in 2 days. New storm coming in tomorrow, so maybe some more snow, and what could possibly go wrong, huh?